Hi and welcome everyone. A few minutes late, so my apologies for that. But welcome to Courageous Conversations. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Andrea Morrison. I'm a transformational coach. And in celebration of the launch of my brand new program, the Courageous Females program, I thought what would be a really good idea was to invite some real life courageous women, women that I've shared this understanding with and for whom it's made a real impact to their business and their lives. And so I'm really excited to introduce to you Jackie Crawford, who I know and love to bits, and we've worked together on numerous different projects. And I've known now for 3 years, 4 years, I can't remember.
It's coming on 4. I think
4
it's
years.
4, Andrea, yes.
Yeah. And I have watched her business just blossom and grow. And yeah, I'm just so privileged and to know her and actually to consider her a really lovely friend of mine as well. So I'm going to just share it, pass it over to Jackie. I don't think I introduced you properly at all. You are an independent image consultant and you help people transform the way that they look and feel about their clothes. You do an incredible job. I'm testament to that. But also I know that I've shared this understanding with you. So today we're really talking about the impact that has had. So I'm just going to hand it over to you, Jackie.
Well, first of all, Andrea, I'm really delighted to be on the other side of the interview.
Absolutely, yeah, because you've been doing your interviews, haven't you? Which have been really great.
I have, together with Jackie. And if you'd said to me when we met that first day for coffee 4 years ago in Pret-a-Manger in the designer outlet, I would have said, "Oh, get away with you! What on earth are you talking about?" So I kind of want to share my journey right from the beginning, really. So I enjoyed a really happy childhood. I had great parents who supported me really in everything that I did. I went through school, I went through college. I entered the world of work. I thought I'd found my vocation in catering and hospitality, and that sort of ran into sales. It then ultimately went into HR, and I was ruled by process. I was ruled by guidelines, and I couldn't sort of stray away from those guidelines at all. So I carved out my career, and it was in my late 40s. I think I was just about 50 when I had a sudden change of heart. I wanted to flex my creative muscles and do something very differently, really. And I think that was born out of my own dressing frustrations as well, that I actually set up my image consultancy to help women avoid all the dilemmas, the tears, the pain of trying to dress appropriately for a corporate environment. So that's kind of where it spanned from. And again, I had the wonderful support of my husband, my family, my friends. And only once I had launched in April 2017. So I think you and I must have got together back end of 2016.
I think we did. Yeah.
I'd taken a gap year to retrain. And only at that point did this limiting self-belief cropped up. And I thought, God, where's that come from? I'd never heard of it. I wasn't even on Facebook. I didn't even have my own Facebook page at that point. I had absolutely no clue what self-limiting belief was. But boy, did it absolutely paralyze me. I'd got a shiny new website that I'd invested heavily in. I'd invested in my training. What if I had no clients? What if I'm no good?
Yeah.
What if no one listened? What if? Where's everyone going to come from? How am I going to convince clients to use my services? But when I really thought about it, that doubt, it was all mine. It was, something that I had just made up myself. I'd never heard of it. My parents hadn't told me about it. It was all of my own making. And I began to envisage just the worst possible outcome. And failure for me just wasn't an option. I hadn't even thought about that, but I'd invested so heavily. I couldn't waste all of that investment, I suppose. And I'd write the endings to everything, this made up scenario, all by myself. Didn't need anyone else to, to make that, just if I'd only met you for that coffee earlier and really listened to what you were saying to me. Imagine, I'd have had less sleepless nights. I wouldn't have had all the worry. I wouldn't have gone so grey. I think, with your guidance, I came to the realization that actually I had to let go of negative thoughts. That's just what happened. I had to stop. And so, a lot of people, I think, will probably go on a journey for quite a long time with you. Yeah. My realization actually came quite quickly, and I realized that actually I can change this, in the same way that I coach my clients, that actually I can give you the guidance to dress more confidently. I can help you feel confident in that boardroom when you go and present your statistics or your, whatever it might be. I can be that person to help you in the same way that your guidance sort of helped me. And I am a planner. I am still a planner. I do like to plan, but previously to the principles, I used to panic if those things weren't put in place, and I didn't follow it by the letter. That was probably sort of born out of my, my training, my corporate career. That's how it went. But I hadn't been up to that point. I hadn't been so creative in my career. So actually, I was having to learn just to let it go. Yeah. And when I didn't plan, yes, it caused me to panic. But now I know I can just let it pass. And if I haven't done something for myself, I'm not talking about doing something for a client, because clearly I will always, deliver on time for a client. But for myself, if I haven't done something, I just let it pass. It's fine. It'll happen, just another time. So no more procrastination. I feel that I trust my own compass now. I trust my own wisdom, that gut that we talk about. And I know, we talk about gut a lot, don't we? That gut instinct. I am so confident in that gut instinct that I make a decision. So no longer, Andrea, will I say, oh God, what if I'd done that though? If I'd done it just a little bit differently, what would have been the outcome? Yeah. I don't do that anymore. So I suppose for me, what it gave me was clarity of thought. So wow. No more worry. I'm sure there are things that I worry about, and if I ever get onto that TEDx stage, I'm sure there will be a few nerves the night before or so. But yeah, I trust my gut, because actually, as you say so often, Andrea, we have everything that we need, and you're on my shoulder, so said, Jack, you've got this, you've absolutely got this. Yes, so that was kind of the understanding for me.
Wow, that's incredible. I mean, I we spend so much time with each other, but I think, just having you kind of say that this is the impact. I mean, It's just incredible. And what I love is, you know, this idea that, you know, we don't control the thoughts that pop into our head, or, you know, we have this scary thinking sometimes, and sometimes we do worry or we feel insecure, but it's that whole idea of, oh yeah, but I've got this. I can let that thought pass. I don't have to pay attention to it in the same way as you might have done before. And it would have coloured all of your decisions going forward from there. You know, it is that sense of clarity, isn't it? That we can...
is. And I think, you know, it is a learning curve. You know, setting up your own business is a pretty scary thing. Now, you might not know this about me, Andrea, but in my teens, I was a jazz drummer and a rock drummer. So I'm not a shrinking violet. And I've even done amateur dramatics. So, you know, I'm not afraid of putting myself out there. But I think for your own business, and because I was so keen and eager to please, and to please myself, to make my business a success, I think that's kind of what paralyzed me to start with. You know, what if I do it wrong? What if people don't like it? What if people don't like my approach? You know, because previously, I guess I'd had to conform, so I wasn't doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And at 50, I was doing my own thing.
Yeah.
And that felt really scary.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting though? Isn't it interesting? And often it's, you know, because we have no reference for something like that. No. And we fall into this misunderstanding that we have to have experience of something to feel safe, when we're always safe all of the time anyway. But because our brains haven't got any idea about what we're letting ourselves into, it gets in a bit of a tiz about it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And I think, you know, if we all feel, I think as women, we tend to, you know, over worry, overthink, and we're not actually very kind to ourselves. You know, I encourage all of my clients, you know, see the positives. Look at that amazing skin. Look at that your amazing legs, or that amazing waist, or that amazing butt, you know, whatever it might be. We always focus on the negatives.
Yeah, and I think that's almost like a habit that we fall into, isn't it? That we fall into quite a judgmental sort of lens, if you like. Absolutely. And then we do that about our thinking. So I was talking about this to a client earlier, and we were talking about, you know, how we might have insecure thinking, and then we judge ourselves for having insecure thinking. No, we shouldn't think like that. And that we should have better thinking, and we should be more positive, and we should be happier or calmer. And so we end up doing, you know, critical thinking about the thinking, and then do critical thinking about the critical thinking about the thinking. And we just end up doing more and more thinking, you know. But when we start to see what we're doing, we can go, oh, actually, I can just let all of that pass.
Yes.
I know that I'm okay. I'm good enough right now. I've got everything I need right now.
And I think that absolutely spills over into my private life as well. You know, I used to worry about you know, taking the car for its MOT and worrying if it was going to pass. You know, what will be really. So I don't overthink. I don't seem to have time to overthink. I just seem to have a little bit more time to do the nice stuff.
Oh, isn't that amazing? Isn't it? That's a really lovely thing to notice. That actually, when we allow our thinking to settle, and we kind of pass all this stuff that we don't need anymore, actually we end up with more time, which is the one thing everybody says to me, I don't have time. And it's like, well, you know, when we let the negative thinking pass, then actually we end up with more time, because we're not thinking about the thinking about the thinking about the thinking about the thinking.
Absolutely. And I think as well for me, I'd not heard of that sort of negative self-belief, as I say, until 2017. I'd always been a very positive person. So that just didn't come into my vocabulary at all. I just had absolutely no idea. And I have to be honest, it really slayed me. And yes, it took me many months to win my first client, but boy, did that feel good.
I bet, yeah.
When I did. And actually, do you know what? That first client, I can still remember who it was, and I can still remember where I won that business and what I had done to convince her to use my services. But even now, sort of as I embark on my 4th year, I still do a happy dance when that phone rings or that message comes. Jack, I need your help.
Yeah.
I've got this.
Oh, isn't that lovely? And what a lovely place to finish. I've got this.
Yes, I know.
It's just that, but it's what a powerful message to give to every woman out there who may be listening. Well, and every man as well. Just like, you've got this. Absolutely. Even though you might not think you have got this.
Absolutely, definitely. And thank you, Andrea, for bringing that learning to me. It sort of hit me like a thunderbolt, really, after we'd sort of met, and I thought about it. As I say, if it's something that I could have been more aware of earlier.
Yeah, but these things happen at the right time, don't they?
I think. And I'm a great believer in that, actually. I'm a great believer in that.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, thank you so much for joining me and for sharing your story. It's been wonderful. I've really enjoyed listening to it, and I'm sure lots of people will do as well. So thank you very much.
I do hope so. Lovely to see you, Andrea. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.